Hello everyone, this is In-Game Art with a little boxing of the offline product game review. This is Untitled Goose game for the PlayStation 4, but being played and tested on my PlayStation 5. To jump right into it, this physical copy here comes with the update version 1.01 on disc, but sadly there was an update available. This update size was 650 megabytes big and will take you to version 1.02 since the time I get this video. Now like always, I play all my games completely offline with an unregistered account, and I didn't experience any massive game-breaking bugs or issues, and as well I was still unlocking trophies with my unregistered account. Now the 650 megabyte update mostly just said many little alterations, as well as that adding offline multiplayer, so that's very disappointing that that update was not on the disc, because now it's just a single player game and you have to update the game if you're going to want to play two players. So it is very frustrating that that wasn't on the disc, but this physical copy was produced by I Am 8-Bit, so thank you for them for producing a wide production copy of Untitled Goose game. Just a little disappointing that you didn't wait a little longer to make sure there was a full complete version of the game. But like I said, the game fully worked from beginning to end with little to no problems. The only problem I actually found, and it's an odd one, is that in the options, if you go to the options, and it's only in the options, if you move too fast, the game kind of like sticks or stutters for a little bit. It's very awkward. Like if you move the volume all the way up or all the way down, if you move it too quickly, it'll like stick for a second and then move 2 times, and then if you do it again, it'll move 2 times. It's very odd. I had to like move very slowly when I was going through the options to make sure the game didn't get stuck or anything like that. Thankfully, it's not that big of an issue. It's just a very weird issue. And that was about it. The other little issue I'm going to point out, it's nothing really wrong with the game, but if those who maybe can get nauseous really easy, the game kind of moves the camera all over the place, especially if you have it set to keep track of Goose as well as people. I highly recommend, if you're someone who can get easily nauseous or you're feeling nauseous, there is a setting in the game where you can have the camera only focus on the Goose. I actually had to do that because it got to the point where it was just getting really nauseous. The camera kept panning and moving away, looking around at the people as well as the Goose. And if you're having problems with being able to look around, if you go into the settings a little bit more, you can toggle on where you can have the camera stick. So if you pan the camera all the way out, you can have it just stay to stick instead of have to hold down the button. I changed the buttons a little bit around. Maybe want to check it out when I customize the settings in terms of the controls of the buttons. Nothing wrong with the default setup. I just felt like with some of the button layout, I preferred a different setup. So check it out if you're interested in it. But just keep that in mind if you're having little issues of nauseousness or anything like that. Now, going into the game, Untitled Goose game is just a very relaxing puzzle-ish style game, but utter pure chaos. Now I'm joking around, but the game is just, it's just so silly and so delightful that you're just playing this goose, and there's nothing special about you. You're just a goose that just go around terrorizing this neighborhood. And I really love it. I love the feeling of peace was never an option. You're just causing all these issues. I just love how there's a dedicated honk button, a flat button, and stuff like that. You're picking up all these items. Now the game does have objectives, and if you push the touchpad button, you bring up a list, and you can look at these objectives and what you got to do, and that's how you progress through the game. Now when you beat the game, then it's pretty short. It's maybe about 2, maybe 3 hours, and then when you beat the game, those lists gets a little bit expanded, and it has a little bit more harder challenge, and then you have the highest challenge where you got to do a time trial, where you got to do all the first objectives you did, and do it really quickly, like within 6 to 7 minutes. Now, I didn't really do the time trial too much because I was never a big fan of time trials in games to begin with. I've just never been really interested in doing those, but I still had fun for what it was providing, and it did really remind me of a game that I greatly enjoyed called Donut County. That graphical style and that aesthetic really reminded me of it. Now, this game is a little bit more involved than Donut County, and for the most good and bad in certain areas, because sometimes the controls can be a little wonky, a little difficult, and I talked about the camera, and it can be a little tedious at certain moments, but I still found the game extremely delightful. There's nothing really wrong with the game. It plays a goose, just picking up items and completing your checklist. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's still full functional and working game. What do you want me to tell you? I mean, the music was interesting. I like how the music kind of like the piano playing as you're like causing you're causing chaos and everything like that, and the characters notice you, the piano will start playing as they're like chasing you or something like that. Those little touches are just bring so much charm to the game. It's just a very unique game, but is it worth going out of your way to get a copy? Like I said, it doesn't have a lot of content, and it's missing that update of 650 megabytes. And again, when you're done, you're done. And there's nothing really here. You can be done with the game generally within 3 to 4 hours. So again, I can see a lot of people getting frustrated with that, especially if you spend a good portion of money. There's so many other games that can give you a lot more value. It's nowhere near as rare as Donut County, which is nice, and I'm glad to see that. But in the end, it's what you're going to be looking into getting in. It's definitely like a meme game where you're just having fun. You can have a good few laughs with friends and family and stuff like that, and just have a good time with the little game. It's just a chill and relax, but pure chaos if you want to terrorize some people for a few hours and stuff like that. There's nothing else I can really say. Like I said, what you see is what you get, and the overall experience wasn't enjoyable for me. I just had fun with it. I just ran through it one over the weekend, and I just had fun. I really I want to talk about more, but there really isn't more here. What you see is what you get. But in the end, highly recommend the game if you're comfortable with spending that kind of money for a game you can beat relatively quickly. It is, again, it's extremely disappointing that the update is not on the disc, so you can't play multiplayer. Don't know what that's like or how it functions or how it would work. But I highly recommend about the camera because, like I said, I was even getting nauseous because of the camera moving around or zooming in and out in certain moments. So highly recommend look at how I got the setup settings and how I got it, or just do some of the tweaks to be able to make the experience a little bit more smoother for you, especially if you're very sensitive about that subject. So like always, thank you all so much for watching. I will try to leave links down in the description if you're instant copy, and I'll see you all in the next unboxing video. Bye-bye!